everybody. Welcome to my channel. Welcome today. My name's Adrienne. I want to do a reading today on the new moon in Virgo and really channel some of the energy around what exactly does this new moon mean for us. So Virgo is the ruler of the 6th house of health, work, daily routines. This new moon will be inviting us to create an intention for increasing or sustaining our work-life balance, or where would we like to be in terms of like our health and well-being. What kind of rituals, routines do we want to create around that? So this opportunity is for us to take what we've learned about our self-care and organization and taking better care of our bodies and our schedules, and dropping this into an intention for how we would like to carry ourselves forward, feeling more in tune and in balance with this whole system of ourselves. With this, how are we healthy physically, emotionally, spiritually? How are we sustaining a balance between how we're working, how we're generating our revenue, how we're resting, how we're spending our money, how we're spending our energy and our time, and how do we create some intentional new opportunities to continue to evolve into the healthiest versions of our beings. So this is really a pivotal time for us to decide how we want to go forward, given the state of the world right now. So how do we want to take care of our health? Who do we want to spend our time with, knowing that there is a global pandemic? How do we want to make sure that we are having, healthy mind and body experiences, so that we're not putting ourselves in greater risk of harm, so that we are making sure that our needs are taken care of and we're clear about how exactly that looks? Are we making a space to create something healthy for ourselves on a daily basis in terms of like a physical outlet? Is there a space that we need around some sort of unresolved past issues? Do we need to seek out some therapy to work through some childhood things that might be patterns that keep showing up in our lives? What are we doing to take care of our spiritual health, and how aligned are we in terms of our spirituality? And is that something that needs to be addressed and some sort of intention created around how we continue to cultivate that space? So this is a really powerful opportunity for these rituals and habits around organization and taking better care of ourselves to come into play. So use this opportunity to create that intention and to actually get really clear for yourself what exactly does the balance of that healthy mind, body, spirit, work life balance experience work for you. What does that look like? And what is your intention to create something around that? Because in 6 months, you'll be able to look back when we're in our full moon in Virgo to see how your intentions have manifested and played out. So awesome. I am going to pull some cards out of this Mystical Moments Oracle deck. This is the first time I'm using it, so this is really cool. We'll see what kind of messages we can get from Spirit right now around what intentions that we want to create for ourselves with this new moon in Virgo energy. You can write yourself down some life plan stuff, home in the sky, tiny triumphs, sea witch. Love it. Love it. So let's see, I'll show it to you. These are super cool cards. So what's interesting here is that I think what Spirit is saying, what the message that I'm gathering is that by taking small steps towards creating the life, the home, the space that you want, then big changes will occur. So it's kind of taking your time, tiny triumphs toward the movement that you want to see for yourself, the shift, the change, the tiny steps forward to the big change is what creates sustainability. It's what creates the sustainable changes in your life. So if, for example, you want to quit eating sugar, if you just decided one day I'm not going to eat sugar anymore and then you just stopped eating sugar, the reality is then you're not really taking into consideration how to actually take the small steps to make that a sustainable plan. I'll use myself for example. I'm vegan now, but it took me quite some time to actually transition from the lifestyle that I had to a full vegan lifestyle. And I didn't just become vegan overnight. I slowly started taking things out of my diet, like meat. First I started with red meat. Then I moved on to chicken and then fish. And then cheese and dairy were the last things that I started actually taking out of my diet. But it didn't happen overnight. And I took little steps to actually create that, to move forward to having more of a vegan lifestyle. Now I'm at the point where I have taken all the products out of my home that aren't vegan products. Like I'm really now living in the vegan lifestyle, but that took time. It took a long time. It took years. I stopped eating meat I stopped eating meat regularly years ago, even though I would eat then meat on holidays, and then, I stopped eating meat on holidays, and then I started to think, well, if I go to these holiday parties, then I have to actually think about how to feed myself in that space, because I can't expect other people to be responsible for my veganism. That's my commitment. That's my decision. And so by taking the steps necessary to understand how to sustain that has been really instrumental in keeping up with that. So taking your time, making small milestones, taking small steps to make major milestones are what actually continue to sustain the idea of the intention that you're creating for yourself. So, wow, this is just really right on point. I'm actually going to read what the book says about the sea witch. Who's the sea witch? Number 52. Joy of play and wander. This small mermaid is called the Witch of the Sea. Instead of a fishtail, she has a jellyfish on the lower part of her body. Her hair sways behind her like flowing tentacles. She holds a windmill in her hand and propels her forward. A wide-eyed fish is her loyal companion on her ocean's journey. She is young and uses the magic of childlike thinking to dance in the waves and marvel at the wonder of life. Okay, so I think you also have to enjoy what you're doing. So it has to make sense. It has to actually be something that you actually like doing. So if you want to create a workout plan for yourself, but you hate running, then running isn't your workout. Find something that you actually really enjoy doing and make that a sustainable plan. I've had injuries. Running for me, even though I would love to do it, I love that physical outlet to be able to just run it off. Like when I was younger, before I had my injuries, running was an activity that I actually really thrived in because I could just run out my energy, and I had a lot of it. Now, because I have these injuries, I'm still working my way back into the sustainability of running, but I still need a physical outlet. So what I do is walk. I walk really fast, and I also do Pilates, which is a low impact, high hot, big result workout. So I'm doing low impact exercises that I gradually built myself into doing over the last several years. I didn't just show up and say I'm going to be a Pilates aficionado. It has taken me time to actually build myself up to being able to sustain that level of commitment to my body, and also to be able to enjoy that. I like it. It's not something that I feel depleted by. It's not something that I feel like I can't do, and so I get frustrated with doing it. If it's something that you don't want to do and you don't like doing it and it frustrates you, you're not going to sustain it. There's no sense in actually trying to convince yourself of that. It's the same thing with veganism. You have to, somebody said to me the other day, somebody who is also going in and out of the vegan lifestyle, you have to live with somebody who's vegan or be around somebody who's vegan. If you don't know how to cook, you're not going to get the nutrients that you need to sustain your body under those circumstances. This person I was talking to is an athlete and needs a lot of nutrients in order to sustain the athleticism. But when he became vegan and didn't have somebody to show him how to make all the vegan things, it was hard for him to sustain that lifestyle. So there are things that you need to have in place. So we're saying these in terms of like just food, nutrition, and exercise right now, but this can go across anything that's resonating for you with whatever rituals you want to create for yourself. So if it's like creating, how many hours in the day you're going to work, you choose. When I opened a business 10 years ago, when I had a storefront where I had my pastry shop, one of the things that I was really, kind of concerned about is how am I going to hold myself to account to actually creating the structure to show up and do this job every day if there's nobody telling me what to do? Because prior to that, I had a boss and I had a job. And if I didn't show up on time and I didn't do the work that was required of me, I'd get fired. So I was like, well, there's not going to be that looming over my head. But then what I learned immediately is if I don't show up, then I don't make the money and the bills don't get paid. So I had to create the actual infrastructure for myself to hold myself to account to in order to continue to move the business forward. Otherwise, the business would have just crashed and burned. So it's really creating an infrastructure for yourself. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you pick out how many hours in the day do you want to entrepreneur what you're doing? How many widgets do you need to turn out in order to get to your break-even point, and how many hours in the day do you need to commit yourself to get to that point without making yourself crazy? So when I first opened my business, it was crazy. I was in a grind, and I knew if I didn't create some sort of infrastructure to create some balance for myself, I was going to burn myself out in that space. And I did. There were moments when I was like, I hate this job. I fucking hate everything about this experience because all I'm doing is working and I can't see the light. So you can definitely create something like that for yourself and not actually have balance to take a step back, to take care of yourself, to make sure you're giving yourself what you need in order to continue to fuel yourself and be inspired to continue to move forward. If this message is resonating, I read, one of the things I did spend a lot of time doing research on entrepreneurship and seeing how what made entrepreneurs successful and what made other entrepreneurs not so successful. And there's a good book if you're interested and if you're in the entrepreneurial process. The E-Myth is it's nothing like mind-blowingly obvious, but it's like, or it's not like something that's going to really like be something you may have never thought about it. Because when I read it, I was like, I knew a lot of the context of that book was familiar to me. I think it just gave me, it just reinforced what I was already thinking. So just being able to create something for yourself that makes sense, that is in harmonic balance, small steps to making big changes, to enjoying it, making sure you're having fun in the process, making sure that what you're doing isn't just all for nothing. It has to be something that can be enjoyable and that you actually have a good time doing. So while you're in the intentions of creating these routines and habits, make sure you're enjoying it and you're having fun. And it's something that you can see yourself being inspired in and continue to do. So let's pull some tarot and see where we go with this reading. Pretty exciting stuff. I am using the 8th House Tarot. I love this deck. Super fun deck. Thank you, Natalie, for letting me borrow it. Gosh, why do I keep getting that? Okay, 2 of Swords, 10 of Swords, Queen of Cups, 3 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, King of Wands, 8 of Cups reversed, 7 of Wands, 4 of Wands, the Magician, 3 of Swords. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this. Let's get some clarification. So you're really looking at what's done, what cycles have ended in your life, what is no longer something that you're going to breathe life into because it's no longer alive, it's no longer pulling for you. So actually looking at that right now in this new moon energy is going to give you the perspective that you need to then create the intentions that are going to pull for you forward. So really the opportunity is to really look at what you love. Loving it's like developing the internal love for yourself so that you can see how to move in the direction of love for yourself, love for your relationships. You could, if this, this could be about a relationship, and about how you have relationships. So maybe right now in this new moon energy, what you're really facing is this energy of how you have patterns in relationship, or how you have a pattern in a relationship, and that isn't you, that something needs to shift and change in order for that relationship to progress forward. So this could be a romantic relationship, a work business relationship, or the relationship to yourself. So however this is resonating for you, there is a situation that you are seeing that is done, that is come to its completion. You can no longer breathe life into it, and something needs to shift in order for a new intention to be created. So seeing that is what is the important message here, is being able to see that is what is going to give you the inspiration to really come from the place of love, loving yourself, and loving what you're doing, loving, being able to use your heart chakra to guide you forward into a state of harmony. So being able to working it out, being able to, so the universe is saying to you that this, by doing that, then the energy will just naturally start to work out. It will just, by the pure nature of you seeing what needs to end and what you love, that loving yourself and being able to make decisions from a place of love will help you work out what needs to happen next. It will just naturally unfold. And then you can stand in that passionate, powerful, divine feminine energy that exists in you, so that you can start taking the steps toward what makes you happy, towards what gives you the fulfillment that's going to generate you to continue to evolve in your best and highest good. So if this is a relationship, I see fire sign, I see fire sign, and I see see water sign. I see really all the signs, but here we go. We've got a twin flame here. We've got a king and queen of fire here. So this could be, you could have decided not to walk away from something that you could have decided to work something out. But you're seeing how something has to give, something has to end in a cycle in order for something new to be regenerated. So maybe you want to continue to work through things, reevaluate, reconfigure, rebuild something, but the way that it has gone didn't work. So something new has to come into its space to make it workable. And by getting really clear about where you stand on what is the life that you want to create is really how you're going to manifest putting the pieces back together. It's really how you're going to manifest moving through the heartbreak of how things didn't go the way you wanted them to go. That seems to be the theme a lot lately. So how do you then actually do it? What do you actually do? You get really clear about who you are and what you want. What are you really up to? Who are you really about? What is it you actually want to be for yourself in the world? What is your mission? Do you want to be somebody who supports other people in creating the life that they want? Are you somebody who manages teams at work and you really want to actually work to, be the leader of the pack, and how you've been being is not that. Maybe you have been being maybe you've been being too emotional in the way that you have been acting as a leader. I mean, however this is resonating for you, however this looks for you, what you're really getting clear about is who you actually are and what you stand for. What do you stand for? Do you stand for an unhealthy lifestyle? That's kind of an extreme. Do you stand for, health and well-being? Do you stand for veganism? I'll just use myself as the example. Do you stand for veganism? I stand for veganism. I stand for that lifestyle. I do it for the animals. I do it for my health. I do it for the planet. That is my stand. Am I touting veganism to other people? Am I trying to convince you to be a vegan? No. That's your decision to make. That's your process. That's your reality. I stand for that. That's who I am. That's what I'm creating for myself. I am clear about that. If you want to know about it and you want me to share how that was for me, I would be more than happy. But where you're at in your process is your process. So getting really clear about what you stand for and what you're about in your life is the energy of this new moon. So standing in that is really what's going to manifest how you're going to put the pieces of your life back together. How you're going to actually create the balance of the imbalance of the energy that has interfered with the balance. So knowing what you're about, knowing what you're about, Bug knows what he's about. Buggy Bear, come here. Knowing who you want to be, where you're going, is really what is going to help you see what actually is going to be the new opportunity that you are creating for yourself, which if you create these intentions now, in 6 months, you can look back at this and see how did that actually unfold? And now what is become available to you and how have you evolved? So, there's a new opportunity here for you to, let go of what has been so that you can actually create what is possible. So that's the message here. So awesome. I hope this is resonating for you all. I'm actually going to go further into this reading and pull some more cards, and I'm going to look at if this reading is resonating for you. I'm going to look at all the signs. I'm going to look at earth signs, fire signs, water signs, air signs. And I'm also going to look at some actual blocks to overcoming this, and the outcome, if there is an outcome that you're not, that you would like to see also transform, we can look at that as well. So I appreciate you guys watching my channel. Thanks for joining me. I hope this reading resonated. I hope you have a good new moon in Virgo. Stay safe out there. If you're in the Pacific Northwest, make sure to wear your mask. Always wear your mask anyways, but wear your mask even exceptionally more now in the midst of all this smoke. So take care, you guys. I'll see you.